Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dian Aulia Citra. I'm from Universitas Sebelas Maret, Surakarta, Indonesia. In this occasion, I will present a paper with title Ethnomathematics, the advantages of Pemalang area-based SPLDV question development. The integration of mathematics in culture is known as ethnomathematics. Indonesia is a country that has a wide variety of culture from building, clothing, food, and social life. Every culture has ethnomathematical elements that can be packaged in various content in mathematical learnings. Ethnomathematics is also considered to be able to help students understand, manage, articulate, and use mathematical ideas that can solve problems in daily life. And then there is a linear equation system of variable, as known as SPLDV in Indonesia, is an algebraic materials that contain mathematical modeling of narrative problems. However, most students still have difficulty in applying mathematical concepts in narrative issues. One alternative to overcome these difficulties is to use narrative questions live from ethnomathematics because they are close in the students' daily life. Students will be more familiar with their mathematical problems to improve understanding and problem solve in learning mathematics. And then there is Pemalang, is a small district, and one of culture in Pemalang district is the handicraft, namely sarung tenun goyor. Based on their manufacture, goyor woven sarung have two types of sarung, namely botolan and warangan. Many sarungs motifs are produced and sold in the market. In this picture, as the several motifs of sarung tenun goyor. Based on this background, this research is about advantages of the Pemalang area-based used to develop SPLDV questions. It aims to make students able to solve mathematical problems that are familiar in their neighborhood. Those students have the awareness that mathematics has a vital role in solving problems in daily life. And about the methodology, there is design. This research use research and development research. There are four stages, but in this research, we will use only two stages. There was the primary research, is an activity to identify problems relates to ethnomathematical and SPLDV, but in the field through literature studies. And the second one is the product development stage is carried out by designing an ethnomathematical based test item preparation instrument on the SPLDV content. The instrument in this research is test instrument and validation sheet covering material, construct, and language aspect. Data collection method use determine of validity, reliability, level of difficulty, and discriminating power. This development said to be valid if it is included in the valid and very valid criteria. After that, and reliability with Cronbach Alpha coefficient if more than 0.7. And the difficulty level with good criteria if between 0.3 and 0.7. And then the last discriminatory power with good criteria if more than 0.3. About the result and discussion In this research, in the preliminary study, at this stage, a curriculum analysis is carried out first to determine the core competency and basic competencies applied in class exit, junior high school. The first one is describe a system of linear equation of two variables and their solution related to contextual problem. And second is solve problems related to system of linear equation of two variables. Interviews with mathematics teacher at SMP Negeri 5 Pemalang obtained the result that the questions given by the teacher were not varied and only focused on routine questions. Students also still had difficulty solving problems. And understand out in the activity of producing and marketing gaya woven sarongs in Pemalang. The production of gaya woven sarong is one of the livelihood of the people of Pemalang district. The second one is product development. The product development begins with developing 5 questions that will be applied in student activities when practicing questions during learning. There are 4 validators, and validator 1 said the development of question is more varied and pays attention to the cognitive level of each question so that the question developed can help students solve complex problems. The validators 2 said the language used is concise and the sample questions are made more contextual. And the validators 3 and 4 said that question number 3 and 4 were combined because they have the same context. Then the score guidelines were made in more detail. So, based on this validation, the number of questions that will be used will be 4 questions. This is a percentage from expert validation with 3 aspects: material, construct, and language. The criteria is from material aspects is very valid with 83%. Then in the construct aspect, very valid with 83%, and in language aspect, very valid with percentage is 92%. The final result of the test instrument validity score is 90.75% with the criteria is very valid. Then based on calculation using SPSS, it was found that the Cronbach Alpha value was 0.799, and the reliability coefficient is more than 0.7. So the results are such reliable. And then there is a level of difficulty from question number 1 has 0.6 with interpretation is medium. Question number 2 is 0.73 and its interpretation is easy. Number 3 is 0.63 with medium. Question number 4 is medium with level of difficulty is 0.69. So, it was found that there are 3 questions in medium category, which number 1, 3, and 4, and And question number 2 is in the easy category. After that, there is a table of discriminating power with the interpretation number 1 is good, with the coefficient is 0.8. Number 2 with interpretation is good, with coefficient is 0.85, and number 3 is good, with coefficient discriminating power is 0.73, and number 4 is good, with point is 0.65. It can be concluded that each question has a different power of discriminating power more than 0.3, so that all of them are included in good criteria. And this is the questions for number 1. Problem number 1 present above discusses a child who helps his parents to sell gaya woven sarung. The manufacture and the sale of gaya woven sarung are one of the livelihood of Pemalang resident. So it is a knowledge foresting for students. Through this question, students are asked to make mathematical modeling on a system of linear equation with two variables. And this is problem number 2. It talks about Rico and Aina who book a gaya sarung to their grandfather as a gift. Different from question number 1, question number 2 uses a gaya woven sarung with a hibiscus motif and gaya woven sarung with a flower bottle motif. In addition, the problem raised is that students are asked to calculate the price of each sarung. Problems of this type are done by making two mathematical models and using elimination and substitution. In the end, the conclusion is from the validity, reliability, level of difficulty, and discriminatory power obtained from students' answer when conducting limited trial, it can be concluded that students can solve mathematical problems on SPLDV material. However, this research is still limited to one type of regional advantage in Pemalang. Further research can develop questions using other regional advantages so that the questions can be more diverse. So that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.